This is the Milo Beasley Show. This is the Milo Beasley Show. There's only one thing you need to know. This is the Milo Beasley Show. And now, here's your host, Milo Beasley.
And welcome to the Milo Beasley Show, episode number 365. That's right. If you wanted to, you could watch an episode a day for the entire year. So that being said, I'm so excited for our next guest. This has literally been years in the making. So please help me welcome at this time. You may recognize her art all over Disney. I know I have, especially Festival of the Arts is here. Please help me welcome at this time, Miss Mindy. How are you?
Hey, I'm really good. It's so nice to finally chat, Milo. Yay!
All right, I'm so excited. You know,
we did it.
we did it. We did it.
It's a celebration.
I can't even. I don't even remember the first time that I saw your work. I think it was probably 2017, maybe even earlier than that. I know I was super excited. The first time I actually met you was at the Wonderground Gallery in California at Downtown Disney.
Yeah.
And then a couple of years ago, you were hanging out here in Orlando, my home, at the Festival of Arts, and that was 2019.
Yeah, I was there 2018, and then before that was for the little vinyl guys.
Right.
Which
Yeah,
was...
I have quite a few of those. Yes,
dueling ones right now. Dueling Mickeys.
I have a shot glass from Festival of the Arts.
Oh, nice.
When you were here, and I had you sign it, so I still have that.
That would be my Irish ways. Yeah.
So do you have your like? I mean, I have lots of shelving. Do you have a lot of that as well with a lot of your work?
I do. I actually have it more over that way. I wish I could. There's a cabinet if you can see it, but there's some secret stuff going on. So I wish I could like take you around, but it's all secret right now, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you're one of my favorite artists. I have a ton of stuff. A lot of the like the Cogsworth clock figurine, which I believe is probably my favorite of all your pieces.
He's one of my favorites too, and you know how picky artists can be about their own stuff. And I really like that little guy. He's my mom's favorite too.
So do you have favorite pieces? Or I know some artists, like you said, some artists are like picky about what their favorite is, but some are like, I did it. I did it so long ago. I hate the way it looks. I don't even want to talk about it.
You know, I do have favorites, and they're actually, I mean, I love the resins and everything, but I have a special one to show you guys today because my favorites were the ones that started it all, and one ended up back in my hands. So it looks like a baby. But this was the Blue Fairy, and it's an original sculpture. And she actually got eaten by a rat in a collector's home. So I'm fixing her. I know. Heartbreaking, isn't it? So these ones are my favorite.
Right.
The ones that I originally started with, like those are my favorite ones.
I remember those, and I was at an event. I think it might have been like a Disney pin event or a vinyl event or some event, and they were being auctioned off.
What?
Yeah, I do remember. Gosh, man.
Remember those? They were mainly at the D23 Dream Store and things like that. So they would pop up in fancy pants areas, you know. Right. But having that one was special because I don't have those anymore. So it's kind of like having a little baby back home. But the fact she came to me eaten was kind of, you know, to all you Wednesday lovers out there, it was morbidly wonderful. So poetic.
So how does again with your work with Disney, and that's how I found you, how does that even get started? How do you get to work for Disney? Did you submit work to them? Did they seek you out?
I was actually sought out for a show that started with Finalmation, right? So the Vinylmation was kind of what got me started with Disney. So there were a lot of my peers. I've done underground art shows for years, and that was how I found my style. My little crazy winky style has just kind of formulated over so many years. And Disney wanted to do something with underground. This was before Wonderground.
Right.
So we did underground art at D Street, if you remember that store.
I
So
do.
it mainly started there. So that's how that happened. We did a custom Vinylmation show where we all did different kinds of takes and painted them and chopped them up and everything. It's a lot of fun.
Man, it's funny as you say this, like it takes me back, and I'm like, I 100% remember that. So that's fantastic.
Cool.
And then the winky face style. So what, how did you develop that? Was that something that you had always done with like your art before, or what was the inspiration behind that?
Yeah, I was mainly in animation for a long time with like Nickelodeon, Warner Brothers, Cartoon Network stuff. So a lot of us, I even did some stuff with Spumco or late Ren and Stippy stuff. And so it's like these things just kind of happen when you start drawing a lot and you get into squash and stretch. There we go.
Right.
So I would always play with my eyeballs, their eyeballs, the drawing's eyeballs. And that's where the winkiness started coming in. And then I'm just kind of a little sassy Irish girl anyway. So the winks are natural to me.
And then been able to incorporate that into a lot of your work, and I think that's great. So had you grown up a Disney fan prior to getting that initial call? Like, so what were some of your favorites growing up?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, my grandmother worked at Disney, which doesn't have the link to why I'm there, actually. It was a very far road because she actually passed away when I was 10, but she worked on Snow White and Pinocchio. So that kind of stuff was always around. But honestly, I was really into anime when I was younger because we didn't have cable
Oh, right.
prior to streaming or whatever. It was all about like, watching what was on TV or like recording that thing. I'm dating myself here, but I would record it on VHS and like record Robotech and all these like really cool anime shows. So I think that also attributed to my art style because then it almost kind of like blended with Disney and Fleischer old timey cartoons
Right.
in a blender. And my art's born.
And now the anime is super hot right now. Do you watch any anime?
God, I feel like I still love a lot of the old hand-drawn stuff. I'm a huge Ghibli. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Some say Ghibli and then some say Ghibli. But I'm a huge Miyazaki fan.
Okay.
So I love, My Neighbor Totoro and any movie by Hayao Miyazaki is like my heart.
Now, you mentioned your grandmother, and I don't know if it's if the story has come full circle, but were you ever able to recover her glove?
Oh, no, it's kind of heartbreaking. I mean, I'm glad that I can let it go, but yeah, that was rough. 2020 kind of did a punch, and I felt like I had piano teeth at that time because, yeah, it was like a heist. They actually planned it and took everything. So I was the only one that got hit. Yeah.
So for folks who don't know, your storage unit
Yes.
right at the beginning of the pandemic
Mhm.
was looted and ransacked. Were you able to get any of that work back?
You know what's the odd thing is? It's the stuff that I didn't really want back. So it's kind of like poetic justice, Oh, so I ended up getting all my Hard Rock pins back. Like they found it in a random storage unit, like when people buy a storage
Mhm.
unit
Right.
and then they get the contents. But this one guy knew my work and he was like, I can't sell your pins. These are yours, Miss Mindy. I follow you and I saw what happened. So I ended up getting this weird luggage back and it had all my pins in it. And before they were in boxes, so they planned it. They had a list and they were trying to sell them and stuff. And I was like, just keep it, just sell those. just give me back grandma's glove and I'm fine.
Right.
But yeah, so it was an interesting time going through that. And I actually, right before I hopped on with you, I'm writing a little thing that I'm going to post on Facebook with all my grandmother's drawings and stuff like that. I get kind of bad about that sometimes.
So I have to, like you said, getting, punched here and there, can't go out, stuff gets, stolen.
Yeah.
How did that affect you mentally as an artist? Were you like, well, I'm not gonna, fine, I'm done. Like, or were you more inspired to do more work?
I felt like it was the universe's way of going, you know what, let things go. It
Okay.
her work got documented in a book, and I was really thankful for that all the ink and paint ladies got their day in the sunshine and honored at the academy and all that stuff. Grandma wouldn't have cared. She would have been like, meh. But I was happy about it. But so many of the ladies are gone now, and it was nice to have Mindy Johnson honor them in that book, the women of ink and paint, and so it did put a little jab in the heart. I mean, like we all had,
Mhm.
being apart from one another. Um, but having that happen did make me want to do more work. So in the beginning of the pandemic, it actually did fuel my fire to just be like, I don't have anything left. So here we go. Let's make some new stuff. So it did.
Absolutely. I could see that going one way or the other. One you're like, well, it wasn't
Yeah.
meant to be, and just throw it, or be inspired. So I'm glad to
I,
see that it was the positive route with you,
oh,
because
completely. I could have gone Wednesday on it and just been like, I don't want to do anything. I'm done. And I think all us artists have those moments where we do a big project, including all the ones I talk with at the festival. When we do these big projects, I don't know if you ever feel like this, Milo, but you do a big project, you're excited about it, you put all your heart and soul into it, and then after you are just toast, like you're just like a little, and you have to soak up the energy. You have to get your sponge and just gather more inspiration, and then back into it you go. And then I feel like sometimes they're easier than other when the project's really big. It does. It's like kind of like bleeding your soul a tad, but it
do
always comes
you
back.
do you have any other now, like you said, when you go to Festival of the Arts, which so you were there already once this year, and you'll be hitting it up again next weekend, February 16th through the 19th.
That's right. I'll be
Uh,
back.
so when you go and you get to see some of these other artists, um, what other artists? I don't want to say necessarily inspire you, but what other artists do you look forward to seeing and possibly taking some of their work home with you as well?
Oh, totally. I love supporting my fellow artists there. And it's been fun because there's a wonderful new mixture of new and old artists. And I feel like with the pandemic kind of on the outs, like we're starting to get some of the people who couldn't come out before.
Right.
And like my friend Daniel Killen, he does really wonderful versions. A lot of his stuff is on the puzzles. So he went out there. We ran into each other on the plane. So we got to go to dinner. And then my friend Ann Shen, Ashley Taylor, Dylan Bonner, they're all, Ann and I go back for a ways. Excuse me. But I just met Ashley and Dylan, and Stephen Thompson's a new favorite of mine. Ran into them all in my pajamas in the hallway, and that's how we met last month. Typical Miss Mindy
I mean,
getting ice.
that's a good origin story.
It was good. It kind of like, just smacks you out of yourself. You try to like pull it together to go to an event, and then you end up meeting everybody in your pajamas and your chicken socks. And it's like, okay, well, here we go, universe. Let's just rock this and have a good time. And people were in tears, man. Like the guests were so flipping cool. Some of them were crying, some of them were just like happy to be alive. Like it was great. I have to be honest. I think it was by far the best Disney event I've ever done. And I've been to Paris it was amazing. I gotta say it.
And now, like I said, you were already there once this weekend. So for those watching, and you weren't there, you got to step your game up. You got to step your game up.
I know, we gotta have a party now. Everybody
party.
wear your pajamas, and it will be good.
A Miss Mindy pajama party. That's what we need.
That's what I think would be great. And then it would have like one of those bounce houses and like, just fun.
You're describing the greatest party ever.
Cereal. Fairies. All right, I go crazy. But yeah, I will have my little prints there and stuff of my latest work. So.
Yeah, so you have hold on one second. I'm trying to do technology and talk at the same time.
Oh God, I can't do that. So
but you have 3 pieces.
Yeah. Oh, you have them. Look at you.
Yeah, so you have this Alice piece, the Pinocchio piece, and then I think because I'm just a sucker for the VIPs. So your final piece, your hurry up. There we go. Yelling at my computer. Your final piece with the VIPs here. Did they come to you? Does Disney come to you and say, "Hey, we have these ideas"? Or do they just say, "Hey, bring 3 pieces of work, and it's up to you to what you do"?
Usually it's up to us. Sometimes they'll be like, "Hey, I'm mainly doing stuff that's kind of a little bit more old school with like Mickey and that kind of stuff with Alice." So I'm in that kind of area at this moment. Some people are doing more princess work and things like that. So sometimes they'll kind of slot you into different places like, please do something from this area, more modern films or more vintage. But with my style and all, it tends to really pair well with the vintage stuff. So I did think of all these ideas. I tend to always like Alice. I have an Alice problem. But I love Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy, and wanted to do a really special piece, like embodying how I feel when I'm walking down Main Street and got a little balloon. So that's how that went. But Pinocchio was more from Grandma, so that was inspired by Grandma.
That's great. And the I don't have one. So pictures on the internet, or that I took pictures from my phone. I was hoping to find a better one online than what I took. Because it doesn't do it justice. But you have these like a metal, like a metal sheen, as opposed to just the flat.
Oh, isn't that a trip? Yeah.
Yeah. So like again, my pictures on my phone don't do it justice. But was that your idea to do that on the metal canvas, or was that something that Disney did?
Disney did it, and they're playing around with different ways of making things. And that one in particular, it's actually quite hard to see in the Odyssey.
Right.
So if you do have it, I know it's all dark in there, but if it was somewhere where it was lighter, it actually will look just like the print if you put it opposite like a white or light colored wall. Right. So it's kind of magic, and it's printed on a mirror.
Oh,
so
it's a
mirror, but you can't tell in the Odyssey. So I was like, hey, you guys, maybe move it over there. So then that's why I've been taking the white card to show people that it's kind of like a magic trick. So these are just like a special limited edition mirror print for the festival. Yeah.
That is really cool. I did not realize it. Crazy? I'm gonna have to check. I'm gonna have to get a better look next time when I go next weekend.
Yeah, take like a white card and go, oh, that's how it is. So basically all the white was replaced with mirror. And so a lot of people, I've been seeing photos of how they display them at home, and it gives the print like a little different funness for the house. So you put it in the hallway, and then there it is. It looks just like the print. And then you go down the hallway, and if it reflects off something darker or pink or whatever, it just kind of changes it. And with the Alice piece in particular, it works. It works fun.
Right. Last time you were here, you were outside at a booth. Do you prefer the inside, or I guess in February it's not too bad, but I guess the darkness, as you said, it does play with the art and not necessarily in a favorable way, I guess.
Yeah. For that one in particular, I just tell people, and they go, oh, and then they understand. But honestly, it's I think I'm hoping to honestly be in the France Pavilion next year. I have to be honest. Some of the time in there is fine, but I feel like maybe more like the animation or the what was it? It was that Imagination Celebration where it had like a bigger tent, or if you're gonna get that many artists, maybe
Right.
it's just an idea. I always tell them Disney my ideas anyway.
Yeah, a couple years ago they had all the featured art. Well, not all the featured artists, but a lot of the featured artists inside the Millennium Village, the World Show, the Showplace, big tent area. And that was really nice.
That was nice. I didn't go to that one, so I wasn't sure.
It was because it was as you know, being in that Odyssey Center, it can get very tight in there.
Yeah, we were kind of mobbed the first day. So yeah, there's been some conversations. So I'm definitely being professional and saying what I felt.
I would highly recommend that you again give them the input of go back to the Millennium Village or World Showplace tent, as so much room was available in there. So I have to ask.
I agree. I've heard it from a lot of people, so I'm definitely turning that in.
So I have to ask though. You were sitting 15 feet from the Figment popcorn bucket. Did you get your Figment popcorn bucket?
No, I was working. That's typical of me. People are like, did you go? Did you see it? No, I was working that day. Artist work is never done. But no, but I saw so many happy people eating cake and with their little buckets, and they were coming over and getting mirror prints and postcards. It was a madhouse in there the first day. It was almost scary. But
so how much time do you get to play at? Do you get any time to play at the parks while you're there, or is it all work?
I do. I get to play. The way Disney spaced it out, actually, I think this is the most time I've had to play, which is really nice. So, since I'm just doing an 11 to 1, it takes a while to get there, and you gotta look okay, and for little elves like me, it takes a little while. But we get there, we do our thing, and then sometimes I'll sign late. If there's a lot of people in line, I'll just wait. And then the next artist, pardon me, my nose is itching. If there's a lot of people, I'll hang out and sign toys till I'm blue in the face, and then until the next artist gets there, usually at 2. So.
Now you mentioned you've been to other parks, other resorts. Do you have a favorite of the parks that you've been to?
I do. Well, I always love Disneyland because it's my childhood one. Right. But Disneyland Paris was awesome.
The castle is just something else, huh?
The castle's nuts, and the fact that they have champagne and chocolate cart. My husband was like, should I just leave you here or whatever and come back? Should I just come back in 2 hours and just pick you up with like a stretcher? I said, yeah, that sounds good, babe. So that was fun.
In their castle too?
Huh?
They have a dragon in their castle, which is just I love Paris. Have you been to Tokyo yet?
No, I'm hoping to.
I'm gonna tell you, as much as you love Paris,
I love Tokyo.
Tokyo is where it's at. Everybody who I've ever talked to that's ever been to Tokyo and other parks, Tokyo is Tokyo Disney Sea is the greatest theme park on earth. I will say that.
Yeah.
But Paris, definitely Paris is way up there. I love their it's not Tomorrowland, it's well, their version of Tomorrowland. I'm blanking on the name of it right now, which I'm going to get in trouble for when people watch this. But the
Uh,
steampunk esque, the rides like Space Mountain and things like that is just um, it's so well done.
yeah. From the photos, I have some collector friends over there. One in particular, but I don't want to embarrass her on here. But she will take my toys to the park. And so I feel like I've been there because she'll take them to the post office. She'll take them to the castle. She took Cinderella to her Cinderella castle. It is really, I think it's the Cinderella castle over there.
At
Forgive me,
Tokyo,
everyone.
so yes, in Tokyo, it's the castle is the spitting image of Walt Disney World.
Okay.
Before they messed it up with the 50th. And I know you're not allowed to. I know you have to be PC and be like, oh, they didn't mess up the
Hey,
castle.
man, don't put me in a bad position. I'm
But
good.
Tokyo is beautiful, and there's no stage in front of it, so you get to see the entire castle.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, it's really cool, man. I love Tokyo, but again, Paris is great. Disneyland is great.
Hmm.
I live in Orlando, so Walt Disney
Yeah.
World is at the bottom for me. Just because I guess I see it all the time.
Yeah.
So
I got you. I got you. I mean, I've been to Disneyland a lot, so sometimes it's like you have to give it a rest for a little bit. Oh, people on here will be like, "No, never give it a rest." But yeah, definitely Tokyo Disney. I've really wanted to go to, and then uh, there's so many others. I mean,
there's Shanghai and Hong Kong that I haven't been to.
yeah, Shanghai. I'd really like to see. That would be cool. So,
So I have a little, if I can find it here, a little game here that we like to do called the Milo Beasley Show Frequently Asked Questions.
oh, okay.
So these are going to be the same 5 questions that I asked to all my guests here on the show. So there's
Okay.
no wrong or right answers. Well, I guess there could be, I suppose. But question number 1, are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Question number 1, what was the first concert you ever
Oh,
attended?
you guys are gonna be mad at me. It was it was New Kids on the Block.
How are we going to be mad at you? That's awesome.
Yeah, she even gave me a T-shirt. I wasn't a big fan though. Don't tell Denise, but I went for her birthday and it was my first concert. And then
You,
it contrast. Second concert was Pearl Jam, Nirvana, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So
okay,
it's a little different there.
a little
Different,
bit.
a little
I
bit.
like it. I like it. My first concert was the Turtles.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So and second concert was Eddie Money. So a lot of
Yeah, right on.
a little bit of, but I like it. But so did you
It's
learn
great.
to like the New Kids after that, or are you still like
I gotta be honest, I wasn't a big fan. Sorry, all you lovers out there. But Denise was, and she was my best friend when I was a little kid, and so we went. I think we were like 11 or no 12. We were 12-year old, and it was exciting because we got the earrings and the shirt, and I just felt like a walking lie. I was like, oh yeah, but I had a good time. It's music, and I honestly love so much different genres of music. So,
all right, question number 2.
yeah.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Yes.
Have you
Wholeheartedly.
have you had an experience?
Yes. Like a few times.
Oh, see,
And one, yeah. Have you had one?
I haven't.
Really? I'll send them
No.
over.
So like I have dreams all the time that I do.
Yeah.
I have dreams all the time that I do, but I've never had anything where I'm like, yes,
No
like that was the
mists.
thing. Never saw anything, never saw anything move, never heard anything like that. No, but I feel like maybe, but like I don't know.
Like I said, I'll send them your way.
Please don't. That
You
being said,
know, these
I
ones are
will not
nice though.
watch. I will not watch any like exorcism or anything like that movies
Yeah,
because I
I
feel like
get
it's
really scared by scary movies, like gory. But I'm a huge fan of like all the old like Bela Lugosi Draculas and Frankenstein and all. But I have had mist, so I did walk through a mist at my grandmother's studio, and that was a trip. So, and I've had it where my husband and I were in a room, and then we looked over, and it looked like someone was just leaving, and we were like, "Well, at least they're gone." you know, good, because this
no
is a
harm, no
new
foul.
place, and I don't want to be scared. But yeah.
Our next question is going to be a little twist on a common question, but in a movie about your life, who would play your parents?
My parents. Oh God, I really William Shatner would be my dad. I'm not even gonna go with my mom would probably be Wendy Froud. Brian Froud's wife. Yeah. So William Shatner and Wendy Froud. There we go.
I like it. Good combination. Question number 4. Who is your favorite person to follow on social media?
Oh, right now I gotta say it's the artist Jim McKenzie. He does wonderful sculptures. If you look him up, he's fantastic. I just found his work like during the pandemic, and it's really fun to watch his process. So yeah, Jim McKenzie's
I'll
really
have to
cool.
look him up on this now.
Yeah, yeah.
Right after this.
Mhm.
And then question number 5, and it's going to be during your time either working for Disney or just at Disneyland in California. Has there been a time where you saw somebody and you absolutely fanboyed out? You, one, either couldn't speak, or 2, spoke way too much and put your
Oh,
foot in your mouth
oh my
and
God! I
made a
can't believe there was someone, and I didn't, and he actually bought a postcard of mine, but he's eluding me right now. I can't think of his name. This is driving me nuts. So I have to think about that one. I'll have to text you or something. But oh God, I think he was in Harry Potter. Oh Lord. Oh yeah, I don't remember. The brain just went meh.
and
But
you're like,
yeah.
you're a fan of me?
Yeah, it kind of freaked me out because people were looking at me like, "Oh my God, he bought something of yours," and so I just kind of was nice and did the whole "thank you." So I didn't talk too much. I was just like, he probably doesn't want to be bothered. There we go. Give him his space. So if I think of him, I will let you know.
And then the second, it's going to be called the Milo Beasley Show Top 5. I'm going to give you a random question. This one always makes me happy. You mentioned if you were to have the Miss Mindy a sleepover party and eating cereal. So we're going to do top 5 favorite breakfast cereals.
Okay. Okay, go. Honeycomb.
Okay.
Remember that one?
Honeycomb is so underrated. It was my absolute favorite
I
as
freaking
a child.
loved that one. I liked Captain Crunch. It's really funny. I kind of liked there was like that natural granola oats cereal that I don't know. It was something weird I'd steal from my mom, and it was actually
Like
really
grape
good.
nuts?
Kind of like grape nuts. It was kind of odd for a kid to like one that was healthy,
Right.
but so it was a healthy one in there. And Fruit Loops was good because you could make necklaces out of it at birthday parties.
I think that was 4.
Was that 4? Oh, okay. See, I can't even count. Okay. Last one would be, oh man, I think Frosted Flakes.
That's a classic. That's a good
Yeah,
one.
and I haven't had any of those in so long. So now you're making me want cereal.
So we're going to have this at the Miss Mindy Pajama Bounce House cereal party.
Epcot Happiness Festival.
Right. Next year in the, we'll get the big building.
Yes,
Show
please.
place.
Yes, there'll be plenty of room around. Be mirror prints everywhere.
We'll get on. Everybody who's watching this, when you take a survey, because they love surveys at Disney as you're leaving or whatever, make sure you mention this party, and
Yeah.
they're gonna be like, what
Yeah.
do
The managers will be like, God, Mindy shouldn't have gone online. We told her, stay in your art cave and make things.
No, again, I know you can't talk about some projects, but are there any projects that you're allowed to talk about that you have coming up?
Um, no,
No.
there aren't any. I'm so sorry. Everything is actually like super top secret right now. But yeah.
Is there
So
a time frame when we'll be able to find out some of these things?
I'm hoping later this year, but I'm really not sure because it's haunted things. So we'll see what happens. So there's some other things in the work too, but that involves a lot of other humans. So it may be, this is very cryptic, over like a year or two. So you'll probably just be seeing me doing a lot of one of a kinds for a while, not as
Okay.
many production,
Right.
because a lot more things are starting up into production since things shifted through the pandemic, like big
Right.
time. So you'll probably just see a lot of paintings and one of a kinds for a while, but I think that's kind of fun.
So, as you mentioned during the pandemic, and you weren't able to do stuff, so you kind of did some work, but what else did you do? Did you dive into, like, what TV shows did you binge watch during the pandemic? I was super into Ted Lasso, so
That's
I
my
tried to turn
sister.
I
She
tried to
was,
turn every one of my interviews into a Ted Lasso talk.
oh, okay. Wait, my sister be all over that. And but I was actually into Cosmos. I got really into the universe, everyone. Like it was that was where my like recluse, my solace was knowing that there were stars and planets, and I started really getting into astrophysics and yeah, so I have a part of my brain that is very scientific, and I really enjoy all of that. And yeah, it went there and it got deep. So
Could we see
very,
some future work based on that once you get through these other projects?
I like that. I mean, I'm going to be doing some of my own stuff as well, just from
Right.
the studio and different gallery shows. So yeah, I think so. I think there'll be some cosmic Mindy art coming out, and because it's one of my passions. If I wasn't an artist, I'd probably want to be an astrophysicist.
Oh,
So
an astrophysicist.
yeah, I'm really into what stars are made of and just how much you can tell about star systems and galaxies, about how you can look out and see what
Right.
elements they're made of. So yeah, that's
Absolutely. Yeah.
very nerdy and interesting stuff.
That that's super. I mean, I happen to find, obviously I don't go too deep, but like the stuff that we've been seeing from the James Webb Telescope,
Yeah, isn't that cool?
have been just phenomenal. So I'm out here in Orlando, so I'm able to get out to a lot of rocket launches and things like that. So uh,
Yeah.
uh, very nerdy when it comes to the NASA. So anytime we get things like that, like the James Webb Telescope, and we're able to look back millions of years. It's
Yeah, isn't
very
that crazy that you're looking into the past and that star might not even be there anymore? And
right.
so seeing those images so nice and clear, it just really it was kind of taking my brain out of, what we were all into. And so I think thinking about like hope and that, I've always been a big fan of space travel. So when I was down at Epcot, the SpaceX took off. And then it had the two hovering um,
Yeah, the boosters. Yeah.
components, the boosters that came back down, and I was just sitting there having a beer and some fish and chips with a friend of mine, and it was. So you talk about playing. Did I have time to play? And I did. I got to sit there and watch this whole thing unfold, and it was really inspiring. I mean, that kind of stuff just like makes my heart happy. It makes me feel positive about the future, and thinking about doing things better with our planet, with our people.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm super into space travel, and I was a finalist on I don't, I'm guessing it didn't happen, but a reality show called Who Wants to Be an Astronaut.
Oh,
And
really? That's awesome. I just
so,
imagined you with that little dome on your head.
but I always, but I'm like, would I have had the guts to do it? Right.
Right.
You know,
When it
like,
comes to launch time, like,
right. Yeah. Like
can
as
you
I'm,
take the
like,
G's?
like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it sounds great, but man, I mean, at least your dad, William Shatner, went to space.
Exactly. That's what he did. My dad, William Shatner. And, they get crazier as they get older. So it gets even more interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, you're coming up next weekend, February 16th through 19th
Yeah.
at Epcot at the International Festival of the Arts.
That's right.
Unfortunately, a lot of people hashtag that as Epcot farts online. Maybe, maybe they could have thought, I mean,
That comes with the territory at parks. So, especially if you're a little kid, it's not too fun at times.
and of course, your three pieces again that you'll have that'll be for sale to purchase, and you'll be able to sign the Alice piece, this great Pinocchio piece, as you said, a little homage to your grandmother, and then my favorite of the three, just because again I'm a big VIP fan, I'm a big Mickey fan,
Yes,
the
me too.
Mickey and balloons print. So again, all available as how big are those? Are what, like 11 by 17s maybe?
Yeah, sorry I don't have any here to show you. But yeah, they're about this big, and then they have the mat on them, so
Right.
you can take them on a plane. But it's interesting.
And then postcards as well. If you're
Yeah,
not able to pick up the big pieces, postcards as well. And
yeah,
then
those
a
are
lot of other great artists. Some have who you have seen on this show as well. I'm not sure of their remaining weekends, but Dave Perillo and Jason Ratner. Um, Great
great
individuals.
guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Been blessed to have some great folks on the show, and so glad that we finally got to do this chat.
Me too. I know. I am sorry I'm such a vampire. I really don't come out that often. I think everyone knows that I tend to stick to making my sculptures, and I wish you guys could see that original one of a kind. I'm sorry it's not a production model, but I am going to be posting some really neat photos of her soon, so that at least you can all kind of drink in a one of a kind sculpture that I pour every little ounce of my being into. So.
That's fantastic. Any last words before we part?
I don't think so, except just thank you, sir. It was fantastic to chat with you. I love what you do. I think that talking to everybody and getting everybody to tell you what cereals they like and talk about space and pajamas, it was glorious. And I hope we get to chat again someday.
Absolutely. So again, February 16th through 19th, please go see Miss Mindy at the Epcot Center and everybody else. Festival of the Arts is such a good time there. I'm wearing, this is my Festival of the Arts shirt.
Nice.
I try to wear every time I go there. So thank you all for watching. If you haven't already, of course, hit that subscribe button. But most importantly, tell your friends. And we will see you next week. We'll be chatting with Mark Sotkin, the executive producer and writer of the Golden Girls, Golden Palace, Laverne and Shirley. So much more. I can't wait. All right. See you all next week.